Welcome everyone. Today we are going through paper 3 of June 2023. So welcome. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Just waiting for a few seconds if anyone else joins. And then we can start the lesson. No technical issues. So yeah, let's make a start. So here is question 1. Oops. Give you a few seconds to try this question. Off you go. So you can see this is m squared to the power 3. That means whatever is inside the brackets, we are multiplying 3 times. So you've got m squared times m squared times m squared. So the base is the same, so my answer will be m to the power, and when we are multiplying indices, we are adding the powers. So that gives me m to the power 6. That's my final answer. Now you could have also seen the power of a power is multiply, so you could have done m to the power 2 times 3, which gives you m to the power 6. Okay, so that's 1 mark banked. We'll keep a tally of how many marks we are banking. Here's the next question. Okay, and you can see it's similar to the previous question. We've got the same base, so therefore we can add the powers. 5 plus 8 gives us x to the power 13. Okay, here's the next question. My kids have been playing with the exam paper, so there's some stamps on it, so I'm going to cover that. And let's try question part C. Okay, I think that's enough time. Let's go through this one. So when we have brackets, we multiply things out. So we are going to be multiplying 4p by p squared. And then we're going to multiply 4p by 3p. So we are going to have 2 terms here. So let me write this out. 4p times p squared. So that's 4. P times p squared. So p has a power of 1. So we're adding the p. So that's p. 1 plus 2 gives me 3. And now for the next term, 4p times 3p. So I can put the numbers near each other. 4 times 3 times p times p. So 4 times 3 gives me 12. And then p times p is p squared. And this is positive. So that's my final answer. It's 4p cubed plus 12p squared. So nice and straightforward question there. Nice start to the exam paper. Okay, so as you know, we kind of, just like people do exercise, they warm up their brains. And we can do the same thing with exam papers. So we're going to go through the exam paper and answer easy, quick questions that we are able to So if we look at question 2, you can see this is not a GCSE maths exam paper. This is an essay. Okay, jokes aside, we'll come back to this question. Question 3, we can see it's got parallel lines with the diagram. So it will take us a little bit of time. It's a reasonable question, but we will come back to this because it's what I would classify a medium question maybe. In terms of difficulty, it might be easy, but we'll come back to this. Also, if you're here for the first time, subscribe to the channel. GCSE exams are around the corner, so we will be doing live lessons every day until our paper 1 comes. Question 4. You can see quite a lot of text here, so we'll come back to this, maybe medium type of difficulty. Okay, question 5 here. We've got H highest common factor. So this is a reasonable topic. I would classify it as a medium topic. We'll come back to this. Question 6, quite a lot of text here. So again, we'll come back to this one a little bit later once we've gone through the whole paper. Question 7. You can see this is actually a very easy question. So I'll give you a few seconds to try that one. Okay, you should be done by now. Here is the graph of y equals x squared, take away 2x, take away 2. Write down the coordinates of the turning point on the graph of x squared, take away 2x, take away 2. Like I've got my answer here, that should be in coordinates, and usually coordinates are x and then y. So the turning point, what is the turning point? The turning point is here. So we've got x and then y. So we got along the corridor. So I'm going along the corridor here, which is 1 rather, and then down the stairs. And you can see here you've got -3. So my final answer is 1 minus 3. So you can see, even though I've skipped quite a lot of questions, there are some really easy questions to do. So I'm banking these marks. Now let's try part B. It says, have a read of that. And again, I'll give you a few seconds to do that question. So write down an estimate for one of the roots of x squared take away 2x take away 2 equals to 0. So what is it? So first of all, it's an estimate. So we need to try and be as accurate as we can. And it says one of the roots. So there's more than one root. So what is a root? The root is here and here. And so now you can work out what that is. We've got 5 small boxes that make 1 unit. So one small box equals 0.2 units. So here I can see I'm going minus 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. So minus 0.8. And then the same thing on the other side. So 2.2, 2.4, 2.6, 2.8. Okay, so it's minus 0.8 or 2.8. Now there is a little bit of leeway. I think the grade boundaries allow for some discrepancy there. You can be a little bit off from those exact numbers. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question 8. So there's a lot of text there, so we will come back to this one. Question 9. Now, before we move on, I forgot to carry on with my tally actually. So question 7 had, we got 1, 2 marks that we've banked. Right, let's move on to question 9. Again, lots of text, so we'll skip that one. We'll come back to it later. Question 10, we can see there is a diagram there, so it looks like it's trigonometry because we've got a right angle and an angle, so we'll come back to this one. Right, question 11 is a straightforward question actually, because we've got to draw a box plot, but it will take us a little bit of time. So I'm going to write here easy, but I'm going to come back to this because it will take a bit of time. I want to bank those easy marks. Question 12, if you can see that it's algebra. So if you like algebra, this is quite easy. So I'll put easy or medium, expanding triple brackets. Question 13 rather, we've got that expression. So that looks like it's quite a challenging question. Question 14, we've got another triangle and a sector there, so it's asking us for that, so it's quite a challenging question. So here we have 15a, nice and easy here. So have a go at this question. Okay, so you can see there are difference of squares, quadratic with 2 terms. So that means this topic is a difference of squares. So what that means is we have a plus and a minus. So we've got a here and b there, so it's just going to be a plus b, a minus b. So very nice, easy marks there. Okay, let's carry on. All right, so this question here is linked to 15a. So have a go at that. It's a bit challenging, but since we're on this, let's kind of continue with this momentum. I'll give you a few seconds to try that. Okay, let's try this. So you've got 2 to the power 40, take away 1. So this looks very similar to what's there. So let me think about what this is. 2 to the power 40, take away. 1 squared is also 1. So I'm going to put it in this format. So now I can see I've got a difference of squares. So I'm going to have a minus and a plus. So the 1 is going to be the easy part. So it's going to be plus 1 and minus 1. Now I need to work on the powers a little bit. Now, if you think about what we did earlier, the first few questions, we were working with powers of indices. So if you have the same base and you, let's say, you multiply 2 numbers, so 2 to the power 3 and 2 to the power 5, let's say. I've just made them up. Just let's think about what happens here. We add the powers. So 2 to the power 8. So when we multiply, we add the powers. So if we've got 2 of these here, something plus something gives me 40, and they have to be the same thing. So therefore it has to be 2 to the power. 40 divided by 2 gives me 20. 20 plus 20 is 40. So 2 to the power 20, 2 to the power 20. So 2 to the power 20 times 2 to the power 20 is 2 to the power 40. The pluses and the minuses will cancel each other out, and you've got minus 1 and plus 1. So show that 2 to the power 40 minus 1 is the product of two consecutive odd numbers. And so because you've got plus and minus, they represent odd numbers. Let me rewrite this as just to add a little bit of information. 2 to the power 20 would be an even number. So again, let me use a small number to kind of understand this. Let's say 2 to the power 2 equals to 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so here you've got that. If you got 2 to the power 20, take away 1, that gives us an odd number. And then you've got 2 to the power 20 plus 1, that would also give you an odd number. And so we've got our final answer there. Okay, so something that's linked there, quite challenging the second part, but you can see they're linked. Let's carry on looking for our easy marks. Question 14, we've had a look at that. Question 16, it will take us a little bit of time. It's not a hard question, nor is it an easy one, but it's a reasonable one. So this is a medium question. So we'll come back to this a bit later again. Okay, so we've got question 17. Find an estimate of the gradient of the graph at time 2.5 seconds. So that's not a tough question. It's just will take us a bit of time to do. So I would say this is a medium question. Question 18 is much more challenging, so we will come back to that. Question 19. So you've got this, I think I need to zoom out to try and get the whole question in here. Do I get this? So you've got Sana needs to draw the graph of y equals 3 to the power x for 0 to x is less than 4 and bigger than 0. She draws the graph shown on the grid. So we've got the graph here. Write down one thing Sana has done wrong. So that's a nice quick question which we can bank that 1 mark. I'll give you a few seconds. Try this question. Off you go. Okay, so the graph is y equals 3 to the power x. Now, anything to the power 0, so let's say x equals to 0, y equals 3 to the power 0 equals 1. So anything to the power 0 is 1. So 0, 1 should be somewhere here. So it's not starting at the right point. So our answer to this question is she started the graph from 0 instead of y equals to 1. Let me make that really clear. So that's our 1 mark, nice, easy 1 mark banked. Right, next question, question 20. That's a very reasonable question as well. That's not that hard. Easy / medium if you like this type of question. Okay, if you like algebra, this is a nice question as well, but we will skip it because it will take us a bit of time. Question 22, vectors, so that looks very challenging there. Question 23 is very challenging there as well. You've got equation of a circle. Question 24, again, getting challenging, and that's the last question of the paper. So let's go back to one that we just saw there. That wasn't that difficult. So this is question 20. I will give you a minute head start, try and answer this question, and then we will go through this question. Okay, so just to kind of highlight, I know I've been skipping questions, but we've actually already banked 10 marks. So we've gone through the whole paper, we've banked 10 marks, we've made our brain has warmed up to all the questions, and we can see some questions we've skipped that were quite easy, but would take us a long time to do. So we will start revisiting them, but we have actually banked 10 marks. And so now we can take our time answering questions, making sure we bank the other questions. So let's get started with question 20. Prove algebraically that 0.123 recurring can be written as 61 over 495. So what does 0.123 mean? It means 0.123. The two dots tell us that 2, 3 will be repeating. 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. That's what that means. Okay, so I am going to be using this place value a little bit later. So first of all, 0.123 has 3 place values here. So I'm going to call this x equals, I'm going to multiply this by 3 place values. So that becomes 1000x equals, and if these digits come before the decimal point, so it becomes 1, 2, 3 point, and then we have the other digits 2, 3 going on continuously. So I'm just going to write 2, 3 twice, just for a reason I'll show you in a little bit time. So now if I look at this, I've got 2 just next to the decimal point, so I need to shift these numbers 1 place value to the left. So that means I need to multiply it by 10. So I'm going to have 10x equals, if I shift this across 1 place value, the 1 comes here. Then I've got 2, 3 after the decimal point. I'm just going to rewrite that here. So you can see now these numbers are aligned. They are aligned. So the recurring numbers are aligned now. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to subtract these 2 numbers. So these numbers cancel out, the recurring numbers cancel out. So I've got 3 take away 1 is 2. And this stays as it is. If you like, put zeros in there. So 1, 2, 3 take away 1 is 1, 2, 2. If you rush this, people make mistakes, but do it in your mind loudly. 1000 take away 10. 1000 take away 10 must be 990. Okay, so you've got that and x. So now to get x by itself, we just need to remove the 990, which means we divide by 990 both sides. So x equals 122 divided by 990. Okay, so now if we read the question, it says algebraically that it can be written as 61 over 495. So we need to keep simplifying this. So you can see this is an even number. Both of these are even numbers. So we can divide these by 2. 1, 2, 2 divided by 2. Let me do it the long way. So does 2 go into 1? No, it doesn't. Carry the 1. Does 2 go into 12? Yes, it does. 6 times 2 goes into 2 once. So this number becomes 61. And I'm going to do 990 divided by 2 as well. 2 goes into 9. 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 times, remainder 1. 2 goes into 19, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. 9 times, remainder 1. 2 goes into 10, 5 times. 495. 495. So I can put here, just to be clear, divide by 2. And you can see my answer, 61 over 495, is the same as what I've been asked to do. So that, I've done my question. So that's 3 marks banked. Let me add that to my tally before I forget. So I've banked 13 marks now. Now let's go back to the beginning of the paper. We skipped question 2. Now it's a lot of text there. We'll come back to it. There were some easier questions that we skipped. So let's go to one of the easier ones that we did skip. Question 5. Let's have a look at that. Question 5 rather takes a little bit of time. I'll give you a minute. Have a go at this one. Right, a and b are numbers such that a equals 2 squared times 3 to the power 4 times 7. B equals 3 squared times 7 squared. Part A, find the highest common factor of a and b. Now, I'm going to put this as a Venn diagram. So I'm going to work with a first. Okay, I'm going to have a, and then I'm going to have b, and then the numbers that are not there. So I'm just going to go through this. So a is 2 squared, so I'm going to put 2 and 2, 3, 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and 7. Now every time a number happens in both, I'll remove it and put it in the middle. So you got 3 squared, so 2 3s. So I've got 1 3 I'm going to cancel, put here, and then the second 3 I'm going to put here as well because it's part of a and b. Then you got 7 squared. There's 1 7 here, so I'm going to cross that one out here, put that one. So that 1 7 is shared between a and b, and then I've got the second 7 here. So I hope that makes sense. 3 squared, 1 2 3s and 2 7s, 7 squared, and a is 2 squared, 1 2 2s there, 3 to the power 4, 1 2 3 4, and then 7. I'll just rewrite this very quickly, neatly, because doesn't get confusing. I don't want to accidentally make any mistakes. So I've got 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3. I've got 3, 3, 7, 3, 3, 7, and then I've got a 7 there by itself. So no more crossing out there, a bit more clear. Find the HCF of A and B. HCF is the middle part there. That's my HCF. So HCF equals 3 times 3 times 7. So you can work this out or use a calculator. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 7 is 63. Okay, so that's part A done. Find the LCM now. How do I find the LCM? I'll give you a few seconds to do that as well. I've done the hard work here. Off you go. Okay, LCM, I've just rewritten it here so that we can see. LCM is everything multiplied. So I'm going to multiply everything. So I've already worked out the previous bit. 63 times 2, 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 7. So LCM equals everything multiplied. I'm just going to write 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 7 times 7. Okay, and I don't need to worry about it too much. I can just quickly use my calculator. It's a calculator paper. 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 7 times 7 gives me 15876. 15876. Okay, so that is my final answer. So now I've banked another 3 marks. 1, 2, 3. So I'm already on 16 marks. And let's go to the next question. Which one was an easy question that we saw? This was the other one. Question 11 was a nice, reasonable question. And then we'll go back to the beginning of the exam paper and just go through all of the questions. But this was a nice question. So let's have a go on this one. Okay, so question 11. The table shows information about the height of a group of adults. The lowest height is 169, so I'm going to find 169. So you can see here there are 10 small boxes which make up 5 units. So let me just look at this. 10 boxes equals 5 units. Okay, so how many boxes will be 1 unit? So divide by 5. So this means 2 boxes will make up 1 unit. Okay, so 2. So I'm looking for 69. So 2 small boxes. So it will be 2 away from 170, if you like. So that's where I'm going to draw my line for 169. Just going to write here 169, just making it really clear for me in case I forget, or just showing it to the examiner. The greatest height is 186, so that means it's going to be 2 squares away from 185. 2 squares. I'm going to write here 186. The median is 177, so it's going to be 2 units, so 4 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. The lower quartile is 174, so that's 1 unit away from 175, so that's going to be 2 squares from here. So let me write here 174, and I didn't write 177 here. So this is my median, lower quartile, my lowest value, my greatest value, and my upper quartile is 180, so that I don't need to do any working out for. It's there. And so I'm just going to draw the box here, box there, and then I will draw my lines here. So nice 3 marks banked there. Let's do my tally. 3 marks, 1, 2, 3. So I've got 5, 10, 15, 19 marks banked. Okay, now I've not really gone into the hard questions here. All right, so let's go into part B now. I'll give you a minute to try that question. Okay, so let's look at this question. It says to us, it tells us, compare the distribution of the heights of the adults with the distribution of the heights of the teenagers. So we've got here, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit as well, just so that we can have it all on the screen. I've got adults here at the top, I've got adults here, and I've got teenagers there. I've got to compare the distribution. Now, when I compare distribution, I usually look at the median or interquartile range or the range. So those are the 3 possible things I can make comments on. Okay, so from those 3 possible things, compare the distribution of the heights of the adults with the distribution of the heights of the teenagers. And this is worth 2 marks. So I need to make a comment on, from those 3 things, 2 things. Median is 1, and then IQR or range is the other one. Let me put R or there. And I have to compare them. So I'm going to start off by using the median. So we've got adults median. Adults median. And I can see here the median is 177. And then I've got the teenagers median. I'm going to leave some space here. Teenagers median. What's the teenagers median? You can see here it's the same scale as before. So each 2 boxes is 1 unit. So this is 2 boxes, so this is 169. So the teenager's median is 169. Now, at the moment, I've only stated what these are. I haven't compared them. So which one is bigger? 177. So now by adding this sign, I've now compared them. So I get my full mark. So adult's median 177 is greater than the teenager's median 169. And I'm going to do the same thing with the IQR now. So what's the IQR here? You've got of 2 squares, so that's 1 unit, that's 171. So I'm going to do 171, take away what's this? This is 165. That's the lower quartile. So that gives me 65, 70, and that's 6. Use a calculator if you need to. And here for this IQR, let me see what the IQR is. 180. Take away the lower quartile is 174. That's 184 is 6. So you can see the IQR is the same interquartile range. So I can make a comment that they're both equal. But because they're the same, let me try the range as well. So let's look at the range of 186. Take away 169. One more gives us 70, so that's 11 plus 6 is 17. So the range is 17. Let's look at this range here. This is how many units from 175? 1, 2, 3 units, so that's 178. 178. Take away. What's the lowest value here? It's 1, 2.5. So it's in between 155 and 160. So it's 157.5. All right, let's just put that into the calculator. 178 take away 157.5 gives us 2.5. So that's something that I can talk about. So I can now write the adult's range is 17. Adult's range is 17. And then the teenager's range is, hold on a second, that can't be right. That's not a difference of 2. There must be something I typed in wrong. So be careful when you're using your calculator. 178 take away 157.5. And you can see it's 20.5. Okay, so just nearly made a silly mistake there, 20.5. So the teenager's range is 20.5. So now it's not compared, so I need to put which one is bigger. This one is bigger, so this is smaller. So the adult's range 17 is less than the teenager's range 20.5. And so those are your 2 marks that you get for comparing those 2 questions. Okay, so now, if you are here for the first time, subscribe to the channel. I just want to show you some features of the channel in case you don't know. All the live lessons are here, so you can see them. We've got playlists as well. So if you are revising, you can look for the higher papers live work through. So we could go through the different higher papers. If you are revising a specific paper, you can look at that, and they are broken down into the different questions. So you can see if you're revising and you're limited on time, some questions are easier, so they take less time, and some questions are harder, which takes more time. So you can see how things are there. In addition to that, some of the videos have within the description of the video, you will see that there are practice questions. So here you can see there's exam practice questions on the same topic. And if you're struggling on the topic, you can see there are questions and answers. So you can actually go within each topic, on that topic, practice questions with answers. So everything is in one place. So if you're here for the first time, those are some features that you can use. Right. So I think we've kind of done all the easy questions. Let's now go to the beginning of the paper. And I'm looking at the clock. We've spent about 45 minutes on this paper, so we will wrap it up very soon. Right, let's go to question 2, beginning right at the beginning of the paper. I did say we will come back to this, so I'll give you a minute, have a go, and then I will go through this question. Okay, I think that's enough time. So Johnny wants to know how much coffee he will need for 800 people at a meeting. So 800 is a key number there. For each person who drinks coffee, will drink 2 cups of coffee. So each person has 2 cups of coffee. 10.6 grams of coffee is needed for each cup of coffee. Johnny assumes 68% of the people will drink coffee. Using this assumption, work out the amount of coffee. So 68% is what I need to highlight. Using this assumption, work out the amount of coffee Johnny needs. Give your answer correct to the nearest gram. So I have got 800 people, 68%. So I'm going to multiply these two numbers together. So I've got 800 times by 68% equals, okay, so you've got, put that in the calculator, 800 times by 68, and the percentage button is there above my open bracket. Okay, gives me 544. Now, if you're not familiar with using the percentage button, you can just divide this by 100. That gives us 0.68. So 800 times 0.68 gives us 544. Okay, so we've got that now. So that's how many people we've got. Now for each person drinks 2 cups of coffee. So I've got to do 544 times by 2. That gives me 1088. Put a comma in there. So that's how much coffee is needed. And it's 10 grams of coffee for each cup. So I now need to multiply these two numbers together. So I've got 10.6 times 1088. So I can times that by 10.6, gives me 11532.8 grams. And if I read my question again, using this assumption, work out the amount of coffee Johnny needs. Give your answer correct to the nearest gram. So I've got my number. I'm going to be rounding up. So that is 1153, rounds up to 3. So I can put my comma in there. So that's how many grams I need. Okay, part B now. Johnny's assumption is wrong. 72% of the people will drink coffee. How does this affect your answer to part A? So I'll give you a few seconds to try that question. 68%. So you've gone from 68%. So Johnny's assumption is wrong. 72% of the people will drink coffee. So it's gone from 68% to 72%. That means the number of people have gone up. So if you've got more people, that means you need more coffee. So let's put that into words. As the percentage has gone up, more people will be drinking coffee, which means more coffee is needed. Okay, let's carry on. Question 3, have a go. Okay, so that should be enough time for you. Let's go through this question. ACF and ADG are straight lines. ACF, ADG, so we've got that. BCD and EFG are parallel lines. BCD, EFG. So you've got the arrows there telling us that they are parallel. Show that triangle ACD is isosceles. So ACD. So I'm just going to sketch it by the side. ACD. What is isosceles? Isosceles means that we have two angles are the same or two sides are the same. So that's what we're looking for. So clearly there's no sides here, so we're looking for angles. So that's what we need to do. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the reasons on the diagram. So I'm going to do the working out on the diagram and write the reasons there just so that I don't forget what's going on. So, and then you've got all the space underneath to write the reasons clearly. So this is a straight line. So a straight line equals 180 degrees. So that's my reasoning. So this means that angle must be 180 take away 110. It's a calculator paper. Let's use our calculator. Take away 110 is 70. You don't need a calculator for that, but just reminding you it's a paper 3. And then same thing here. You've got another straight line here. So this is 180 minus 125, which is 55 degrees. Okay, so you've got that here. So I'm just going to write that as a straight line equals 180 degrees. So you've got that there. Now, the parallel lines, they must be important. So I've got 70 degrees. Let me put 70 here. Now, if I look at it, I've got this angle missing. So something here must be linked. So if I look carefully, I've got a parallel line going this way and a line that's connecting them. Parallel line going that way and a line that's connecting them. What letter is this? This is an upside down F angle. It's to the right of the line and above the line. So these two angles must be the same. So this must be 55 degrees. And then F angle is corresponding. So this is corresponding. So corresponding angles are equal. So now I can put 55 here. So now I've got my missing angle is left. So what's my missing angle? So this is a triangle makes 180 degrees. Angles in a triangle make 180 degrees. So I can do 180 minus 55 minus 70. That gives me, and again I can use my calculator for this, 180 minus 55 minus 70 gives me 55 degrees. What do I notice here? These two are the same. Therefore, ACD must be an isosceles triangle. Okay, so I can write all of this out. So triangle ACD has two 55-degree angles. Therefore, it is an isosceles triangle. Okay, and I've put all my working out here. You've got all of this space to write that out. So everything is in one space. Right, we're nearly on the 1 hour mark. Let's see if we can squeeze one more question in, and then we will end the lesson. If you are new to the channel, then do subscribe. I'll probably do this paper another time where I will go through all of the other questions that we can get easily. And I did go through the easy questions, did label them, so I will go through them. All right, so question number 4. I'll give you a minute to do that. Okay, it takes 14 hours for 5 identical pumps to fill a water tank. How many hours would it take 4 of these pumps to fill another water tank of the same size? So key information, 14 hours, and I've got 5 identical pumps. So let me think about it. Imagine a water tank rather. Let me just draw a box. And I've got 5 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it takes me 14 hours to fill it. How many hours would it take 4 of these pumps? So I now have 1 less. So will it take me more time or less time? So it kind of, if I think about it, if this is 14 hours and I've got 1 less pump, it should be more time, more hours or time. Okay, so that's just me thinking outside. My working out should show that. So what's the key concept here? The key concept is the total time. So I've got 5 of these taking 14 hours. So I need to do 5 times 14. That gives me my total time. So let's do 5 times 14. That gives me 70 hours total time. Okay, and now I've got 4 pumps, so I just need to divide 70 by 4. By the way, if you, just by writing this, that's a method mark, divided by 4. That gives me 17.5. Okay, and I think I'm getting tired here as well, so we'll pause it here and subscribe to the channel. I'll continue with this paper another time. And if you have a suitable, if you prefer a particular time for exam papers, write a comment, and I will do live lessons every day, paper 1 until the exam starts. So happy revising, all the best, and see you next time. Take care, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Take care. Bye-bye.